Hey. Hello, I'm Mike here, and this is Music Radio Creative Live, where we look into a question that you're asking on the show and try and get you the best audio knowledge possible. This is the show for audio producers, podcasters, DJs, radio people, voiceover artists, and more. It's fantastic to have you here today. It's very, very chilly in the UK. We were predicted snow overnight on the Isle of Wight, but never got any. Anyway, let's get into it, into the screen share here. Graham, who's watching from Washington, D.C. in the USA, podcaster, asked me, Mike, you were speaking about your Pro Podcast presets yesterday, available to buy now, by the way, at mrc.fm/ppp, and you were showing something in them called adaptive noise reduction. Can you explain a little bit more how adaptive noise reduction works? Let me hop over into the multi-track here. Oh, here's some stuff I've been working on earlier. Let me start a brand new multi-track session and look for my Pro Podcast presets. There they are. And we'll call this Skype call because they're always very noisy. And I can show you, of course, Graham and others watching exactly how adaptive noise reduction works. So as you'll see, in my Pro Podcast presets, plenty of different channels for podcasting. This is basically a template that's going to sort out all your podcasting worries. Podcast hosts, talk over music, intro and outro area, co-host area, place to put your Skype guest, podcast guest, sound effects, and then buses and a mastering setting to mix it all down and make it look really nice and uniform. No big spikes or anything like that. So this Skype guest here, I'm just going to normalize that audio so you can really see it. Go into spectral frequency view, and as you'll see, look at all that hiss. Let's normalize that hiss and have a listen. Oh, awful. So that's the hiss we're trying to get rid of with adaptive noise reduction. Adaptive noise reduction is something that's only available inside the multi-track, and it's also a CPU intensive effect, which is why it's highlighted red here to say you'll need a hefty CPU. You can also do noise reduction in the waveform view by going to Effects, Noise Reduction and Restoration, Noise Reduction Process. This is the much better way because you can capture a noise print and remove only that noise you need, but you can do it in the multi-track, particularly on noisy tracks. So it's determining in real time those sounds that you don't want to have in your audio. For instance, stuff like hiss, wind, rumble, bass, anything that's bassy and horrible that you don't want there, it tries to get rid of. So how does it all work? Well, it's got some presets, as you can see here. I've set it up here in the multi-track in the Pro Podcast presets. How far do you want to reduce the noise by that's coming in on Skype? Listen to it with the preset enabled. Very quickly kicks in, gets rid of that hiss. Switch it off. Whoa, Skype hiss on.
Thank you, Michael. It's great to be on the show today.
And off. Oh, awful Skype hiss coming through there. So then you've got noisiness, and that will indicate the percentage of original audio that contains noise. So you could take this down a little bit if you wanted to be less aggressive. You can look at a noise floor as well. So you can sort of adjust the threshold at which this is kicking in and starting to reduce noise. We've also got a signal threshold to make sure any of your desirable audio is able to get through above 5 dB, for instance, and below 5 dB is where we're working with the noise reduction. Spectral decay rate. Now, the lower you have this, the more it's going to work, basically, because it's going to work really, really hard by dropping off your audio by 60 decibels as soon as, basically, the speaker stops speaking. So Isabella there stops speaking, boom, it'll try and get rid of as much noise as possible. If you open this up, you're going to see a higher millisecond value there, meaning that the audio is going to stick around for longer. Let's give it a test. Let's bring it right up to the top.
Nice to be on the show today.
And wait, and wait. Oh, it's not kicking in because that's nearly a second's worth. Let's make it a bit tighter. 200 milliseconds.
Be on the show today.
There's the noise, and there's the noise, and eventually it'll kick in. Or maybe not at all. So the lower, the better. Broadband preservation as well. So you can choose here any desirable frequencies that you want to keep. So 100 hertz, as I've got it set here, means that no audio is removed above 100 hertz. If I increase this to 300 hertz, now we're removing more audio. And of course, the FFT size is the kind of resolution of audio that's being removed. But don't worry if you don't understand all of this. 1024 is pretty good setting to have it on. If you want to go more detailed, you can go right the way up to 16384. Might be even more CPU intensive. And I always stick high quality mode slower because it means it's going to work more. One thing you will notice with this adaptive noise reduction when it's switched on, let's make sure it's switched on, is it takes a little while to kick in. So you might just hear a like that, and then it kicks in. So just be aware of that with adaptive noise reduction. It's just simply, I won't say it's a fault, but it's noise reduction on the fly is always going to have a few seconds to calculate what it's doing. Whereas if you go and apply it in the waveform view, you can then just have it applied to the waveform distractively and all your noise is gone. Either way, though, it's good. Thank you, Graham, for the question. I'll be answering more questions at the later time of 6 p.m. every weekday UK time. Convert that to your time zone, and I'll catch you on next Monday, this coming Monday from 6 p.m. UK time for the live stream. And every day, if you've got a question about audio, get it in. Best way is via the community at community.musicradiocreative.com. Have a fantastic weekend, and thanks for watching.